Hey guys, welcome back to the Unity 2D platformer tutorial. So we've learned how to make our player jump, and we've dealt with colliders and rigid bodies and all that stuff. Another thing that we're going to need to work on is making the player animate. So it looks kind of stiff right now as we're moving around. So we're going to want to make them run, we're going to want to make them go back to idle, we're going to want a jump and a falling animation. However, we still have a few steps in the process before we can start animating our player. And the reason why is because we don't actually know right now whether we're jumping or we're falling. We know if we're on the ground or not, but that doesn't tell us whether we're going up or going down. So that's going to be the next thing that we tackle. So as always, we are going to create a variable up top to represent our value. So we're going to have a public bool is jumping equal to false, and a public bool is falling equal to false. So we can only be jumping or falling if we're not in the ground, or if we're not on the ground, sorry. So that's one way of telling, but we also are going to measure it based on our last Y position. So I'll explain that here. If we go to our player, we'll just move them out of the way. If our Y position is 0 and we're not grounded, then we know we're in the air. So if we store that value in a variable, and then on our next frame, when it runs fixed update one more time, if our Y value is automatically, or all of a sudden 0.1, and then we compare the two values, we will notice that 0.1 is greater than what it was in the last frame, which was 0. So that's how we're going to determine whether we're jumping or we're falling. We're going to say, okay, what was our last value, which is 0? What's our value now? 0.1. Well, 0.1 is greater than 0, so we're going up. And because we're not grounded, that means that we're not on the ground. Because remember, technically, if you had a moving platform that was going up and down, you would be going up, but you aren't jumping because you're touching the ground. So it is important that we add the stipulation whether we're grounded or not. And then to see if we're falling, it's just the opposite. So if we have 0, and then if our next position is negative 0.1, then we know, okay, we've gone down and we're not grounded, so we must be falling. So if we go back into our code, we're going to make another public float last Y position. We're going to set it to just be 0. And we're making it a float, remember, because that means it's going to have a decimal place, because the transforms have decimal places when you work with them. So under here, we're going to say last Y position equals transform dot position dot Y. And we're also going to want to make sure that we set last Y position as soon as the game loads, because if we set last Y position to be default 0, and then our player spawns at 10 in the air, it will think that they're jumping. So we're just going to go into start, and we're just going to do last Y position equals transform dot position dot Y. So now the first time we run it, start will say, okay, this is what our last Y position was. Now in fixed update, we're just going to say if transform dot position dot Y is greater than last Y position, and we are not grounded, then we'll set jumping equal to true. Oh, whoops, not jump force. Is jumping equal to true, and is falling equal to false. Then we're going to do else if transform dot position dot Y is less than last Y position, and we're not grounded. Then we're going to do the opposite. Is jumping equals false, and is falling equals true. And then we're going to do an else, which we haven't covered yet. So if says if this condition, do everything inside of it. Else if is just adding an if onto it. So if the first condition wasn't met, check the second condition. If it's this condition, do this stuff. Else will run no matter what, as long as none of these conditions were met. So you can have infinite amount of else ifs. You can have as many conditions as you want. You can keep going with it. But then if none of those get met, else gets triggered. So then in our else, we're just going to make sure we set is jumping to false and is falling equal to false. So for example, neither one of these if statements will trigger if we're grounded. So if we are grounded, then we want to make sure that we reset is jumping to false and we reset is falling back to false for when we land on the ground. So now if we go back to Unity and we load up our game, we can see is jumping and is falling. And as you jump, is jumping goes to true, but then once you start falling, is falling goes to true. We can actually see this much better if we set our jump force to be something like 10. So we're jumping and we're falling. So now we'll be able to tell the program when we're going up, or if is jumping equals true, change our animation to jumping. If is falling equals true, change our animation to falling. Otherwise, if we are moving, change our input to, or our animation to walking. Else, change our animation to idle. Okay, so let's add an animation to our player. So if we go down to this animation tab, you'll see this to begin animating player, create an animator and an animation clip. So we're going to click create. And we're going to right click here and do new folder, animations. Then we're going to have another folder and we're going to name this one player. Then we're going to go into that folder and we're going to have idle Anim. Okay, so this one's pretty simple. We're going to go back to project. We're going to find our player idle folder and we're just going to drag one in. We're not going to worry about having a bunch of different idle animations. Then we're going to create a new clip called jumping Anim. And then we're going to go to jump and we're going to drag that in there. And then we'll click here and click create new clip and we'll type in falling Anim. And the falling sprite is under the same folder for jump. And then we're just going to stick with these for now, and then we'll do run after we're a little bit more familiar because running is a tad bit more complicated. So if we go to this animator tab, you'll see that entry automatically is pointed at idle animation, which is good. By default, our player should be idle. But then we're going to have this any state block. And what that's allowing us to do is jump from one animation to another at any point. So we are going to right click any state, click make transition, and then go to idle Anim. We're going to do it for all three of these things. Okay, and now we're going to create a new parameter. Right here, click parameter and then click the plus. And it's going to be an integer, and we're going to call it state. Actually, that should be lowercase, so I'm going to delete it because we want variables to be lowercase because it's standard practice. Now we're going to use the state variable to determine which animation we want our any state to transition to. So we're going to be able to change the state variable in our script, which will change the animation here. So for example, if we click our link from any state to idle animation and then go to conditions, we can say if state equals 0, then go to idle. Then for the transition into jumping, we'll say if state equals 1, go into jumping. Then go into here, and if state equals 2, then go into our falling animation. So hopefully you guys see where I'm going with this, because in our code we're going to have something that says if is jumping, then set state to 1, which will automatically trigger the image in our jumping animation, which if we go back to here, like you can see, our jumping animation that we dragged in here makes us look like we're jumping. So now there's a few things to note here. We want to change some of these settings over here. So just expand the settings menu. So this is going to be for any state to idle animation. We want fixed duration to be turned off. And then we want to set this to 0. And then we're going to do the exact same thing for these other two. Fixed duration, set this to 0. Oh, and then we also want to turn off can transition to self. So then we'll turn off this here. So basically what this is doing is saying we don't want our animation to have a fixed duration. So we don't want our jump animation to be 2 seconds, for example. We want, as soon as we change from jump animation to something else, it automatically changes without trying to go through with it. So if it had a fixed duration, it would have to play out like 2 seconds, for example, before it would be allowed to change into our next animation. But we want our animations to just jump right on the fly. So now we're going to make something called an enum up top. And it is going to sound a little bit confusing, but you should be able to wrap your head around it as soon as we see it. So we're going to call public enum animations. And basically this is going to be a list that we set where a name equals a number. So for example, we're going to set idle equal to 0, walking equal to 1, jumping equal to 2, falling equal to 3. Oh, and we want to separate these with commas, not semicolons. And then actually, I don't believe that was the number order. So we want to make sure that we check it. So 0 is idle, 1 is jumping, 2 is falling. So 0 is idle, 1 is jumping, and 2 is falling. And then walking will be our fourth one. So we'll set that to 3. You'll notice that we start with 0. It's because even though we use the number 1 as our first number, computers use the number 0 as its first number. So we're just going based off of that. And now we're going to create an instance of that enum. So public animations. So animations is now a data type. Current anim. So now hopefully we can make easy sense of this by typing current anim equals animations dot, and then there'll be a bunch of lists of our animations. So if I type in idle, current anim will now equal 0, because in our enum, idle is set to 0. So we have an instance of this enum, and our current one is set to idle, which remember is 0. So hopefully you can see where I'm going with this. We're going to be changing our state variable, and we're going to be setting it to our current anim. So we also want to be able to reference our animator component. So we're going to type in public animator anim. And then in our start function, we will type anim equals get component animator. So now we have reference to that. And then we're going to create a new function, which we've been using Unity's built-in functions before, but now we're going to create our own. So we're going to type public void change animation. We're going to send in a new animations variable called new anim. And this will all make sense in a bit. So if current anim does not equal new anim, so if we are changing to a new animation, then set current anim to be new anim, and then reference our actual animator. So this is the component dot set integer state equal to current anim. Okay, so what this function basically does is it allows us to send a new animation into it, and then we check to see if we're not already doing that animation. So let's say we're not moving on our fixed update. It will say we're not moving, so send in idle. But then on our next fixed update, if we're still not moving, it will still call this, but we don't want to update our animation to idle if it's already idle. So this is just only change animation if we aren't already using it. Update current animation. Change our state variable in our animator. So at the start here, instead of doing current anim equals animations.idle, we would call the function we made. So we'll call change animations, and then we'll set in animations dot idle. So we're saying send in idle, which is basically, for all intents and purposes, sending in the number 0. So we're calling change animation. If we scroll down, new anim now becomes the value that we sent into it, because that's just how functions work. So now new anim equals idle, or 0. So then we're going to call our animation.set integer and change our state to be current anim, which in this case is 0. So it will set state to 0. And then if we go back to here, it'll say if state equals 0, then we're going to trigger our idle animation. So now if we are jumping, then we can say change animation, animations dot jumping. If we're falling, we can do the same thing to animations dot falling. And then down here, we're going to say else if move input equals 0, and is grounded, then we're going to change our animation to be animations.idle. Okay, so we did a lot of work there. Let's see if it works. Okay, so our jumping is working great, and our idle is working great, but our falling seems to be having a bit of a problem. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so I was getting a weird bug where it wasn't letting me fall, and then I reset Unity, and now the falling image is there. So it wasn't detecting the falling image. However, you might also be noticing that there is no longer a ground. So there's an order that it renders sprites, and up until now, we haven't actually told it in order, so it just kind of does it at random. So we're going to go to background, and under sprite renderer, we're going to see a sorting layer, and we're going to add a sorting layer called background. And then we're going to have another one called player, and then another one called ground. So we want our background to be in the back, and then we want our player to be on top of it, and then we also want our player to be on top of the ground. So now if we set these ground sprites to have a sorting layer of ground, they will appear. Also, I was able to click one and then hold shift and click the last one, and it grabbed them all. You could technically do each one, but this one works a little bit better. So then we'll go to player, and we will go to sorting layer and set that to player. And then we'll do the exact same thing for our background. So now it will no longer render things randomly. It will render them in a specific order, which probably had something to do with why it wasn't displaying my falling animation. So you'll see if we run after we've fallen, it doesn't transition back to idle, but that's fine because it's going to be transitioning to walking. But then once our move input equals 0,